if you didn't get a second chance, you probably wouldn't be sitting there.
Exactly right. I mean, I have a felony and it was a dangerous crime. We need second chances, and we need to believe in something that's a second chance, right? You can't just cut someone off.
Is there any second chance you don't believe somebody should get?
Yeah, child molestation.
My little brother, who's 14 now, he's in junior high, so they did a diversity. He's not gay. Let's just get that out there. He's not gay. That's not where he's
Your little
going.
brother's not gay?
He's not gay.
Would you be mad if he was?
Yes. And so he had diversity day at a school, a cultural diversity day. And so a part of it, they had this big assembly, and they had like Polynesians go up. Yeah, everything. And then the very last crew, culture, or whatever to go up was the LGBTQIA plus, whatever it is. And my brother was sitting there the entire time because the way he described it's kind of funny. It's a little vulgar, but he goes, "This stupid twink was up there talking about being gay," and that just bothered me, just because it's kind of indoctrination at its finest. He's 14.
Yeah, I think that happens more so in college though.
Oh,
indoctrinating stuff. Because I had when I was in high school, it's 2008 when I first got into the Gay Straight Alliance. They had that.
They had that when I was in high school.
Yeah, that was
too.
a club.
They had that.
I remember
They had
that.
it in high school.
Is it called Gay Straight Alliance?
Yeah, it's a Gay Straight Alliance. So they had that. There's a club there, and
Hey guys, you got to remember, I didn't go to high school, so I wasn't exposed.
None
to
of this
it.
stuff existed when you were in high school.
No, there was gays, but there was
How old are you before you finish it?
28,
29.
29.
29.
Okay. Because
I stopped eating. How old are you?
How rude.
25.
Yeah, I'm the
Just
oldest
kinda-
of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well-
22.
20, 29, 25, 22.
Yeah. So I don't think it's like I think because the gay stuff has been there at least since I've been in high school. I think when college comes around, that's when the indoctrination really comes. Because that's when my views really pivoted a lot when I got into college. When I got into college, I was like, because I was very into God and going to church a lot. And then when I joined college, I was like, oh, is God really real? Is God real? Is Jesus real? Or is this all just bullshit? So I went down like a dark path, and not like dark path, but I just questioned God and all the other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What are you looking at?
I was just moving it.
Oh, so the indoctrination really came later on. Like I almost became a Democrat. I was telling Chris, I almost became a Democrat in college.
It got that bad.
They got that bad at ASU.
Gross.
They said, "Hey, would you like to become?" They just asked me, "Would you like to be part of our Democrat email?" And that's what really kind of messed it up for them, because they sent me emails every single day, and I was like, "Dude, fuck off." So, and then everywhere else in college, I went to ASU, the downtown one, or Tempe one, and a lot of people are just very liberal, very not even, they're hardcore Democrats there, and they want to recruit people, and the way they sell it's very easy. You know, we care for everybody. We want everyone to have the same stuff. We believe in socialism. Don't you think everyone should have a piece of the pie? You're like, yeah, dude, I kind of think that should be right. And then you look at, the Weimar Republic, and that's how Hitler came. So,
Yeah.
if you guys don't know about the Weimar Republic, it's after World War I. The Weimar Republic came in to, quote unquote, fix Germany, socialist group. Then the far right, Hitler came.
The
conquered.
Nazis. Yeah.
Yep, and Nazis took over slowly but surely. So, if we go down the full socialist path, this is just very oblivious thinking. As a college student myself, I was like, oh, socialism sounds fucking awesome. Fuck yeah, dude. Free college, dude.
Well, but if you think about it, like, why would you, for everything to be equal, that means either I have to go lower my standard down to someone, or they're up to me. And so either way, I don't want to be there, and they don't deserve to be here.
Well, it's for lazy people. And when
that's
you're in
what I mean.
college, a young person, at least for myself, I can't speak for all the college kids. I was like, dude, I don't have to pay my college. It's just more so like I don't have to pay my college debt back. I can study whatever I want. I get free food. I get little checks. I could go, do whatever job I want to do. Whatever you want to think of. There's a lot of pros they could sell for socialism to especially a college kid. So
Of course, yeah, free way out. Oh, it'll help your parents. It'll help. But once you become like a civilized adult and you actually pay taxes and stuff, and you're like, I do not want to pay for that dude's college or that girl's college when they signed a contract saying they're going to pay for it.
Well, even still, like you look at taxes now, right? What are we paying for right now? I'd rather pay for that kid's college than paying for people to get bombed. I'd rather pay for the kid's college and pay for homes to be built for people than
I don't know.
Send money all over the place.
I wouldn't rather pay for the kid's college because to pay for the kid's college, then that kid is probably going to be homeless.
So you'd rather have more losers? Because statistically speaking, they're more likely to be a loser the less educated. Obviously, there's some outliers, but the less education you have, you're more likely to be a loser.
I would disagree to that.
I would too.
What?
I would probably disagree to that too.
I mean, look at some of the wealthiest people in the world don't have a full college
Outliers.
education.
You're talking. You're looking at the.
Yeah, there's also not a lot of full healthy people.
Well, I think.
But you're not educated.
I went to college. The only reason I dropped out of college.
You're not educated, though.
But what are we saying?
You don't have a
Educated?
degree. You don't have a degree.
Well, hold on.
Wait, what are we defining as educated?
Yeah,
what's educated?
Because Kaden could say he's not educated, but he went to high school. He didn't go to college. You could say you're not educated. You didn't go to high school.
I didn't go to high school at all.
I
went
didn't go to college, so I wouldn't say I'm educated.
And I think there's two parts at play here. I think there's being educated and getting education, which I think there's a big separation there.
There is. To be educated, it means that you have intellect. So you're educating in business, right?
I'm talking about university, college. That's
well, you have to. So education's a lot different. So if you have proper education in colleges, like most colleges are bad. A lot of them are bad.
Well, you had said that you would rather pay for a college student's debt than say a homeless person or to go bomb somebody.
I'd much rather pay. I'd much rather have more people going to school. Yes. And paying, if people have the opportunity, let's just say lower income people that don't have the opportunity to go to college. They want to go to college. They want to build.
It's a whole different topic.
But I'm talking about paying for people to go to college. So socialism, like where our taxes are going right now, they're paying for other people to get bombed. We're paying for proxy wars. This is coming out of our pockets.
Well, of course.
Mm-hmm. So going back to what you're saying, why wouldn't you want to pay for more people to go to college? Why wouldn't you want to pay for more education for these people?
Never.
So you'd rather have stupider people?
Yes.
Why would you rather have stupid people?
I think
you earn your degree. You earn the right. You pay your debt. You pay your dues.
Chris, would you rather have more idiots or more smart? If college was just to build you to be a better person, what college?
The problem is college doesn't build you.
What college does? What college and the education system does, is all from when you're a child, from preschool till let's just say you get your master's degree. All it is building you to be a good.
So you're saying?
Hold up, I'm not done.
Go ahead.
Let me finish. You keep cutting me off.
Go ahead. Come on.
You cut us all off.
Listen, this is the Democratic side of you.
Stop.
This is the Democratic side of you. Let's go.
It's not the Democratic side.
You said you were about to become one.
Yeah, when I was in college. Would you rather have? My question was to you. Would you rather have more losers or more educated people? And you said you'd rather have more losers, which means you'd rather have a losing country. Would you rather have more winners or losers?
No.
You just said losers. So
you're changing the whole thing.
I'm not changing it, Chris. So let's just say.
Hold on. Let's really break this down.
No. I'm not done talking, Chris.
Let's break this down. So about
to cut
this.
you off. So let me just correlate because you're saying educated people, right? Are you correlating the educated people to getting education at school or college?
Yes, that's what we're talking about.
Just in general, because they get so anything outside of high school. Mm-hmm. So you get paid for trade schools. That's education, right?
Yeah.
Is that not?
I would rather have someone go to a trade school and pay it.
Okay, Chris, listen. You're not listening to my question. This is what you got to listen to.
Pay their debt.
To be a better interviewer, you got to listen to the question. You got to listen to the substance of my answer instead of listening.
We should have been getting high on this one, huh?
I am high. I smoked right before doing this. And I still have more logical points.
What do you think you went to the bathroom for?
My points are still more logical.
Well,
so
finish the point.
So from preschool till you're done with college, what they build you to be is a good employee. So what you do, what happens when you go to school? You sit down. You have a boss. The boss allows you to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
The boss allows you to do everything. You want to go to recess? You want to go on your break? You get your 15-minute break. You want to go on your lunch break? Cool. We'll give you a lunch break.
Yeah.
Now, when
it's the same thing as prison. Go ahead.
We're talking about education. That's a whole different topic. So you're saying you'd rather have better workers because our education system could be a whole different topic.
Are you? So you're saying someone who goes to college is a better worker than someone who doesn't go to college?
Worker, yes.
No.
Yes, 100%.
No way.
Because
hold up.
I didn't go to high school, and I'll work anybody.
But
Are
you're
you
not a
everybody
worker.
though?
You're not a worker.
You're not a worker.
You're an independent. You're a business owner.
I was a worker at one time.
A worker would be somebody that's getting paid to do the job.
An employee. Look at your employees. You'd rather have an employee that showed you that they could go through college, something that's very difficult.
No, yes.
Ask Lena.
I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. So, but let's think about this. You said that you would pay for someone's college over anything else. Okay.
I didn't. No.
Should we look up how many people with degrees actually have a good job?
Hold up.
That's not what he said.
Hold up. That's not what I said. Pull that back. I said
you
no.
would
Listen again, Chris.
You would rather pay
Chris
for someone's free college than a proxy war, right?
Would
or
you
homeless.
No. I didn't even say homeless. I said a proxy war and bombing people. I'd rather pay. So what are we doing now? We're sending billions and billions.
No, that's
and I
stupid.
said I'd rather build homes. And look at Hawaii. We could spend $50 billion to fix Hawaii.
That's
but we sent money. We sent
all I'm talking about is the college, and I said I would not want to pay for people's college. They don't deserve to be paid for.
But Chris, would you rather? My question, and the reason why this got started was, you said I would much rather pay. I would not want to pay for someone to go to school, and
Yes.
I'd rather pay for someone to get bombed.
No, I didn't say I'd rather pay for them to get
But
bombed.
the whole context of my
Yeah,
whole.
but I would, if that's the option, yes, then.
So where our money's going right now, because the whole Chris,
Go ahead.
the whole context of this came from me saying I'd much rather pay for a kid someone's college than pay to bomb someone else. So I don't give a shit about people's colleges. I didn't fucking go to college. I dropped out.
But you want to pay for them.
But there you get better workers. Would you rather? The question is, would you rather pay?
Do you really get
Chris,
better workers?
Chris, yes, you get better workers. You get better employees. They know how to listen better.
Which industry are we talking about?
All industries. You get better listeners.
There's a giant band-aid here we have to rip off because you're wanting to bomb people instead. Where are you bombing?
Huh? We'll bomb the right people.
Who's the right people?
I would use that money for our military. They're just using it wrong. But the thing
Chris,
is,
the whole issue is
the reason why I'm saying I would rather do your analogy is a proxy war. I would rather do that than pay people's education, because we're enabling the country right now, and we're creating babies that don't want to do anything. They know they can get away with it. We're creating more Hunter Bidens that are spoiled. This is the democracy.
What does that have to do with college, though?
Because you're teaching them they don't have to pay their bills.
These are people who
Real
aren't going
early.
to college though.
But what I'm saying is, if you start paying their debts now, they're gonna not. They don't know how to pay their debts.
But
so then you have people. It's no different than people that stay on food stamps their whole life, 3 generations. They don't move out of the apartment. They won't even get married, because if they get married, the rent goes up, right? The same thing with the parents, right? So certain parents won't even get certain jobs because they want their kid to get free college. So no one's being challenged to become better because they know they're getting it for free. But there's a Chris Estrada right here next to you that has paid for 2 kids' college, right? Because I work my ass off.
But Chris, again,
I would never allow my kids to let someone else pay their debt.
Chris, I'm not saying paying people's debts.
You said that. So
I said
and
I'd
the
rather,
offense was I would rather
Chris,
just go have a war.
Listen to substance, please. I said I'd rather pay for a kid to go to college than to bomb other people. What are we using our money for right now? Yes, you said people are, they're lazy people, but who does that fall on? It doesn't fall on the economy. It doesn't fall on the president.
I think we sent like $7 billion to the Ukraine.
Well,
to a corrupt. Before that war started, they were like one of the most corrupt
they
countries.
should do that. That's wrong too.
But Chris,
the question was either or.
Can I roll back a little bit? You said that just because you go to college, it makes you not a hard worker.
No, I didn't. Yeah,
that's what you just said.
It doesn't make you any different than anyone else.
So have you been to college?
No, I haven't.
So
you have this opinion on stuff that you've actually never done. You're basing your opinion
on. But I've worked around a lot of people that do have college degrees, and actually I've ordered from them at McDonald's.
And
that's an over exaggeration. That's an over exaggeration.
And I had a year of college and dropped out. I don't know how much you would have had, and I think you finished.
I did 4.
I did 1 year and dropped out because what I realized in that 1 year, I was there on a sports scholarship. But when the sport stopped and I was just doing nothing but school, I realized how useless it was in a sense, because I wasn't getting educated. I was drawn I was there because I was supposed to get an education, which doesn't set me up for anything. I'm not learning financial literacy. I'm not learning how to. Actually, I had a business class.
They're the worst.
And I was sitting there, no business experience whatsoever. She's been teaching it for however long, and a lot of stuff she was like building out and stuff. I was just thinking about how stupid that is. And as soon as I dropped out, I actually went and I started actually a landscaping company. That was my first door-to-door experience. Minute, just to pay the bills, and right away I was already making 6 figures knocking doors doing landscaping. And I was learning, I realized I needed more skill sets and to be educated, which is actual skills of like financial understanding, salesmanship, things that actually matter, which I wasn't getting in education.
In the local college or
they're
university.
teaching me the Pythagorean theorem, which I don't even know what that is today, but I had to go through it.
colleges, they do have classes for that stuff. Maybe they didn't have it at your college or at that time, but ASU, they have classes for that. They'll teach you. You just have to go for that. So the people that are not going to do nothing with their college degree are the ones that are going for their liberal arts. I don't know what that degree is going to do with anybody, or
history.
They're
degrees.
just going for history or psychology or whatever.
Psychology you could use.
Well, yeah, but a lot of them don't.
Antonio, Google how many people actually utilize their degree from college.
And to retract, though, I will say, because you were even just saying right there, I mean, doctors, accountants.
Well, you look
some
up-
of these
look
things,
Yeah,
up
doctors,
those-
lawyers, accountants.
those
There's
need
things
it.
you need.
No, you
jobs
have to go to college for university
certain
for those.
IT jobs, you
So
need,
then
you
would
need a
you rather
degree.
have more winners than losers, Chris?
You're not going to pay for the doctor's education. They're
Yes,
not
you
part of
would.
that. They're
But
not part of that group.
but would you
Hey,
rather
so
they're
what
not
you're
part of that
saying?
group.
So what you're saying is
They
you don't
have
want,
to pay that.
Hold on. So what you're saying is you don't want nobody to go to college. You want everybody to start a business.
No,
make a bunch.
I didn't say
Where's
that.
the employees going to come from?
I said is if you sign up to go to college and you sign the contract
But,
to pay the
Chris,
debt,
I have a question.
then you should
I
pay
have a
the
question.
debt.
This is
Don't
not-
wait.
this
Hey,
is-
do you pay CEO or whatever that lady does, right? CEO.
CFO.
Did she go to college?
I don't know. I don't even care. I pay her to do a job.
But
Did she go to college?
I don't know and I don't care.
You-
All I
you-
know is
you
I pay her
probably
to do
do
a
know.
job. I don't care if they went to college or not. If they know how to do the job.
So then let me ask you guys this question.
They're not. They're
you.
not doing surgery.
So
on
my
me.
question is,
Hold on, I want to roll back.
If
Sorry.
they're doing surgery, then I care.
So you care if they go to school? So again, would you, if they were going for doctors, lawyers, proper things, STEM, science, technology, math, and
STEM,
engineering?
Yeah. You're not paying those debts. Though.
But I'm not saying, Chris. You're not again. You're not listening to the substance of my
You're saying
question.
you're talking about paying debts when he's not even talking about
That's
paying
what
debts.
we're-
I'm not talking
He's
that's
talking
the
about
whole
in
subject.
general.
Chris,
the people that are
nothing.
going.
I have not said pay anyone's debts. Nothing. No words of my mouth said pay someone's debts off.
This is a huge
See?
problem in this country because people don't actually listen. They don't let people finish, which is what Dominick's saying. And that's why we have all these issues in division.
I think I just said that after cutting you off.
Well, I know you cut me off, but Chris,
Sorry
all
about
I've
that.
been
You
saying
can-
is I'd rather pay for someone to go to school. I'd rather pay for more doctors, rather pay for more lawyers, rather pay for more people in math, engineering, rather pay for this than blowing people up. I don't care. I'm not saying pay people's debts off. Did I say, no, yeah, let's pay everyone's debts off? Which, we spend enough money in Ukraine to pay off people's debts, but that's, their issues. And then you go into another conversation. Would you trust an 18-year-old with $100,000 right now? If you said here,
Depends on who it is.
If an 18-year-old came up right out of high school, doesn't know shit, hey, give me $100,000, what are you going to say? Chris, right out of high school, $100,000, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Would you give it to him?
Listen.
Well, I'm asking you. Yes or no? Yes
the
or no question.
system is
yes
built that
I'm
way.
asking you a question. Yes or no?
Here's the thing.
I'm
is
Chris,
I would
Chris,
trust
Chris,
that his
Chris, Chris,
parents
Chris,
are
Chris.
involved. That his parents are involved in his decisions.
You're
Chris,
adding all this stuff to that situation.
Stop
that doesn't-
adding. Stop. Answer the question. Yes or no?
What?
If some random, not even Chris, if Antonio came up to you and said, Chris, I want $100,000.
No.
I'm not telling you what it's for. I just want $100,000. It's going to be so I could be for my education. Random person. Yes or no?
That's not.
Yes or no?
The
Chris?
answer is no.
Okay, so then why the fuck would you trust an 18-year-old to take out $100,000 debt that they can never get rid of?
They're not
You can-
taking out
no,
$100,000 debt.
You stop. You can. It's about $10,000 a year, a semester.
that was-
$10,000 semester. You do 10,000. You go to university. That's $20,000 a year. It's $80,000.
But they're not taking out the whole
Chris,
debt all year,
Chris, they're
every
taking
year.
it out every single year. Every single
It's
semester.
no different than
you
going buying a
didn't go to
car.
college.
This guy went and bought a
Chris,
car.
And
They
you don't have to pay
trusted
that
him.
debt
Chris.
till after.
Yes.
And then
So then right after college, you're
The
expected
debt
to pay all
comes
this
up.
money. Yeah.
And then this person has no financial literacy, what he was talking about. And you're giving $100,000 to someone that doesn't know jack shit about finances, getting a liberal arts
this goes
degree.
back to the parents.
But it
Wait,
also goes. It also goes.
Here,
one
let's
sec, one
tweak.
sec,
Let's
one
tweak
sec.
what you're saying a little bit because I know what you're saying. It's
One second.
it sounds you want to pay for everything. Let's just go pay for 2 years. They have to learn all this stuff.
what
and
if
they
it's
want to
an
keep
AA
going,
degree?
they have to
But
learn.
What
Chris,
if it's a community college and it's $10,000 a year?
Chris, listen to me.
20 G's. They don't even wanna pay that.
Science, technology, engineering, and math. Did I say pay for someone's liberal arts degrees? No, I said pay for science, technology, engineering, and
added
math.
that.
So then I also added paying for their trade schools. I'd much rather have more winners in science, technology, engineering, and math, and more people in trade schools than bombing people and letting China get ahead of us. They're putting people through all these things.
Okay.
We're not.
So-
we have
so
way
you
more
wouldn't-
losers.
What is
You
that?
wouldn't-
What is that? Read that.
You wouldn't donate to
Read that.
Chris.
More than half of the recent four-year college graduates, 52%, are underemployed a year after
And
they graduate.
What the fuck do they major in, Chris? This is the issue. Listen,
That's
see what
it,
they
but
major in.
that's who you
they're
want to
going
pay for.
over.
No,
and
Chris,
that's
they're
and
going
that's
over
and
all.
what
If you choose one,
Dominic
you choose all.
was just what Dominic was
how
just
you do
saying.
anything is how you
Dominic
do
was actually
everything.
talking about the small percentage of that. That's because the 45% is exactly what we're taking away from this equation. Because he's talking about these programs that do require knowledge,
but
like being a doctor, like being a scientist, like being an engineer.
Yep.
But that's now becoming educated because these are actually skill sets that need to be learned. And then he even was bringing up before cutting him off he was even saying now more trade schools as well. So we're
of
subtracting
course.
70% of the education system, and we're doing 30% that's important, the people that are going to use their degree, and then adding additional ones like skill.
So you're
trainings.
saying you would pay for the other 70 to support the 30?
No, Chris, you're not listening.
That's
Chris,
not what
Once
I'm
you,
saying.
once
Hold
you
on.
say
All
you
right,
pay
hold
for
on.
one,
So the other
once you
way
pay
around.
for one, you
Other
pay
way
for
around.
all.
No,
No,
you don't.
because-
No, you don't. You
and
put
that's
stipulations.
and think about this, and you think
But
about
they're not.
And but you're
There's no
thinking about
stipulations.
And now here's where you come into
Oh my
grants.
goodness.
Here's where you come into
course.
government programs for
There's
students.
scholarships.
And scholarships, because the ones I hate are where it's like, hey, you're just a good student. Here's a degree to go get a liberal
Yeah,
arts.
ASU
That's annoying.
ASU does that.
I
all
don't
the
want my
time.
tax dollars going there, but they're saying, hey, you're wanting to go into the medical profession. So here's a grant for us to cover, 50, 60, 70% of your degree to go become a doctor.
I have a question. Do you think that the debts that are being paid are actual doctors, lawyers, or are they the liberal arts people?
Chris, you're
So
going.
He's not
So let
talking
me-
about paying people's
But
debts.
once you
So-
pay one, you pay them all.
He's not
So
talking
let
about
me-
paying debts at
Chris,
all, though.
you're
So let me
He's
let
not
me put
talking
this in
about paying
perspective.
debts.
You
Chris.
pay anyone that doesn't want to pay the bills.
So if we don't,
You're
if we-
talking. I'm talking to a woman. I'm talking. to you right
if
now,
we
Chris.
don't let's just say we don't want to fund these programs, because let's say we're giving 30% of the degrees that are anticipated to become doctors and all these things, we're giving them money. Would you rather take the chance at potentially having a doctor to service you one day?
Google what loans get paid. I'm curious of how many of the degrees that are being paid off are bachelor degrees, master's degrees. Are they AA degrees? What are they specializing in? Are they is it just junk degrees where these kids, because sometimes these kids are going into universities or colleges just because their parents told them to, and they don't want to do it. They didn't even finish. And then do you want to pay those guys debt? Or what Kaden's saying is in a scholarship program, they're getting vetted.
And I think
They're getting vetted.
And if I'm jumping into politics, I'm getting in my Congress seat, and I'm thinking of how I'm going to use tax dollars to better society, because I think there is portion that I'm going to use that goes to some sort of educated portion. But it's much to like the original point that he was making, is that it's going to be, I'm going to segregate. That's probably a different word, a bad word to use, but segregate the different programs. So, we're going to have actual funding that's going to be for people that are specifically going in for doctoring, for engineering. And then if anybody wants to go over here to these artsy-fartsy degrees that mean nothing, do nothing, you're not going to get shit. Sorry.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So that's two different topics though. That's two different. That's not like the
Well,
same.
it's within
Well,
the
that's what
same
we're just-
thing.
Yeah, but
you're separate. You're pulling two things and putting them
Yeah,
together.
we're trying to cut. We're trying to sever that because
because there's already scholarship programs. Like that's the difference between.
Yeah, but there's only
a
so many.
scholarship is different between paying someone's debt.
Have you tried getting a scholarship?
No, but I did. I helped. I got kids in college. Remember, Lena
How
just
many?
graduated.
How many? You just said you put her through college. How many
I did.
scholarships did she get?
Maybe one. I wish she got more.
So you wish she got more, correct?
Yeah.
How hard? So if she only got one, it would have made your life a whole lot easier if she got more, correct?
Yeah.
So it's hard. I've tried getting scholarships. It's hard to find these scholarships. It's hard to apply for these scholarships. It's hard to find the good ones that fit your criteria, what you're going for. So you say they have these things in place, but most of the time, kids are getting this money from grants, federal grants,
Yeah.
and then they're taking out loans.
They're borrowing money.
So, because these scholarships are so hard to find, they only put one little ad out, they only put one little thing, and then it gets buried in Google's thing. So you go on Google and be like, oh, scholarships for ASU. It's only 2% of people go to the second page of Google, so you're only going to read that first page, and that's all you're going to get. That's all the substance you're going to get. So you're only going to see those scholarships. So yeah, there is things in place, but there's no avenue. They don't teach you how to go find these scholarships. You go into high school, I was not taught how to find a scholarship. I had to go find them myself, and I didn't get them. Because I had to write a 10-page essay on why I wanted to get the scholarship or some stupid topic that they wanted, and it's not even relevant for what I was going to school for. So what he's saying is let's set up policies for people.
Yes.
And this is what I was going into, Chris. I'd rather pay for people to go to college and go to school than bomb people in another country that has nothing to do with us.
Can I add something?
Go ahead.
Who wins in that though?
Huh?
We do. We have more winners.
If you pay,
Hold
just
on.
say,
Pause 1 second. I
Go
was
ahead.
about to say something. We can also add on to that, because if someone's going for a PhD, they get this grant from tax dollars or wherever they get it from. A part of that grant is they have to actually finish and get that PhD. Otherwise, if they don't finish that, they have to pay up to whatever they went for. Because then at that point, they're just taking advantage of free money.
Well, they all are. So But if you think about it, okay, if just say we'll go back to paying college debt. If we paid a bunch of students debt, who wins?
Who brought up college debt?
We're not talking about. We're not. Chris,
It's still paying the debt.
We're not. Chris,
We started.
Chris, you're off topic.
I know, but
we're not talking about paying debt. Stop talking about paying debt.
well,
We're
we
not talking about
changed it
paying
now.
debt.
So
No, we
tonight
didn't.
with scholarship programs, I'm totally down for creating a scholarship program.
Exactly. That's what we're talking about. I'm not talking. This whole process.
No,
not been
that's-
talk. This whole
government
process.
doesn't create scholarship programs. They
Yes, they do. They have grants. They're called government grants, and that's where
Grants.
that's where most people are getting their money from. is grants.
FAFSA is well. When I coming out of high school, we had to sign up for it. I
Yeah.
didn't do it. Actually, I did do it. I got denied because you guys made too much money.
Yeah, it's low income.
Yeah. So like for stuff like that, and then if you have 4 kids, like you're not extreme. You don't have like $50 million or whatever. You're not extremely rich.
No.
So paying for 4 kids for college, that's a lot. It may not be like a deathly toll. Like you still live.
But I'm
it's a
willing
lot.
to do it.
So
No, I
you're
know
comparing-
you're
you're
willing to do
comparing-
it, but it's a lot.
You're
So-
assuming everyone's in the same lens as you. You're assuming everyone's in the same situation as you are, and they're not.
So
No,
what
You're
about
1%.
what about
I
the,
totally understand.
What about the little girl that's coming out of high school and she has straight A's? She doesn't get a full ride scholarship, and her mom and dad can't afford to pay the rest of that, and she actually wants to go be a doctor or be a teacher and help society that way, but she can't afford
Well, I
college.
think
so she
teachers a
can't even
very
do
bad
that.
job. She shouldn't be a teacher.
Well, then we need.
Well,
them
a
then.
lot of people want to be teachers so they
no,
can
we
actually
do
help.
need
Teachers
teachers, but
teachers a very
today's
important
world,
job.
that's-
It's a bad paying job. It's a very important job.
Well, a good teacher makes all the difference, and they're rare.
Well,
which-
like-
Yeah, so you can't say teacher's a bad job. It's a bad
Today,
paying job.
it's a bad
no,
job.
It's a bad paying job. It's an important job.
I think if you pay them more, you get better people. I
Of
wanted to be a
course,
teacher.
You double the pay.
I wanted to be a teacher.
You need to double their pay.
I had my 6th grade teacher changed my life. His name is Mr. Stone, and I think a lot of teachers, a lot of kids, at least kids should have a teacher that changes their life. But he changed my whole life. My whole life trajectory changed because of what he told me. I used to lie a lot as a kid. He said, Dominic, one day you're gonna lie so much that you're gonna believe your own lies. And no one's gonna believe you. You're gonna tell someone the truth and not gonna believe you. So that one dude, just by pulling me aside, taking the time, changed my whole trajectory of my life. And what's the point of that? You need to. If he had better paying, I would have been a teacher. From that moment, I wanted to change. I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to help change some other kid's life. And then I found out how much they got paid. 55 grand is the most you'll probably get paid here in Arizona to be a teacher. And I was like, I am not going to spend countless hours dealing with children just so I could change one life, which is probably really bad to me, very selfish, and I don't care. I'd rather make money. I'd rather make money than just deal with that.
So you'd rather make money than deal with what?
Deal
I didn't hear that last
with
part.
$35,000 and still being in debt. Now, well, they pay off your student debt, but I'd rather be figure out ways to make real lucrative money than to be paid $35,000, $40,000 right off the bat for the first 5 years.
Well, I have a teacher downstairs
Yeah,
Explain why he's not a teacher anymore.
because his job sucked.
he doesn't make
No,
as
because
much.
he didn't make
No.
enough money.
So if you pay teachers-
if you actually listen to the conversations you had with him, he actually liked being a teacher. The kids
It's
were
not
bad.
true. He hated the kids were super bad. Call him in here. The kids were super bad, and he got no support from the school
From the parents.
or
From the
school.
parents.
And
None of it.
And he didn't make enough to deal with it. He liked the kids.
Yeah, but
They're
there was
bad
no
'cause they
support.
didn't have support from the
system
parents.
don't. I don't even know.
The
if
system was horrible.
I don't even
he
know.
also,
if
he
a good
also was teaching at a bad school.
Well,
the school he was
what I
teaching
mean
at
is,
sucks.
I don't even know if paying teachers more helps in today's society, because the systems they're so screwed up. The school districts are, especially the public school districts, are terrible.
Okay.
I don't think that has anything to do with the teacher's impact on the student, though.
It does though, because
Not
they're
really.
they're taking stuff away from the teachers.
What?
They're in unions. It's a lot of
What are
stuff
they
that
taking?
happens. The rights. They can't do nothing. There's no money. There's no funding.
How does that affect me speaking good to you?
No, I'm
say
just
I'm
saying.
say I'm a teacher and you're a student. How does whatever the school does or whatever affect me from inspiring you or
It doesn't affect that. It affects someone wanting to be at the school.
well
that's what it
but
affects.
we're not talking about that.
We're talking about finances. So
Well,
if I again going back to the beginning, what changed me from wanting to be a teacher is how much they got paid and how much you had to deal with. Because I was a bad student. I was a bad student. Every year from 3rd grade till my senior year, I had at least one referral and got suspended every single year.
You guys spend it every year.
Yeah, it was all for talking. I got 37 referrals in one semester from one teacher.
I was a bad student. I think I made my sophomore year math teacher quit.
Yeah, so I wasn't a good kid, but I realized I wanted to be still wanted to be a teacher. I was like, I would love to teach kids. I love teaching people in general. I love helping people out. I was like, if I can make a difference in kids' lives, I'd love to do that. And then I realized it was only $40,000 start off pay, and this is going to be for 4 years. So what? $120,000, $160,000 in 4 years is not worth dealing with all that shit and still going to college and still doing all that. So the point I'm trying to make is if teachers' pay was higher, if I saw like $70,000 start off pay like normal some other jobs are, I'd be more inclined to want to do it. And why am I saying myself? I think I'm a better person than most of these teachers are, at least theologically speaking. And if you put people in my perspective, like I'm sure you'd be a teacher if you thought they made more money. Mm-hmm. There's a lot more people. No. But it's just more, it inclines better people. Just like, at least for myself, I think it inclines better people to be teachers if you pay them more.
I think you got a point. But the system's just screwy.
Just like police officers, if you pay them more, you get better police officers.
Police officers definitely need more pay. Well, they need, again, the system's still messed up. Because people are not even quitting police officers because of pay. It's because what they're allowed to do. Mm-hmm. It's the system that really screws up the whole thing. So it really starts from the hierarchy of the system. Who's running the system? Who's running the program? That's what messes up all these programs, whether it's college, schooling, police officers. It's the system that messes it up for society, and it creates these issues.
Who's the head of the Department of Education?
Do you think it's a system, or do you think it's the home?
Antonio, look that up.
I think the home is.
When
more,
you say the home, what do you mean?
I'm thinking like parents. So I think that.
Well, that's the same thing.
I think that's a bigger issue that we're having.
Well, that's a huge issue.
I think it's both because you are your environment ultimately. So
we're supposed to trust our government.
Well, and then when you go to school, I think teachers as a role of like teaching, I think it's kind of irrelevant. I really think they're just babysitters in a sense because they're supposed to babysit our kids or my soon-to-be kid, your kids, when they're out there. Because we're not going to watch them while we're out working. So go watch my kids. And realistically, any classes I've been a part of, I don't know if this is the same for you guys, but I learned nothing. But the only ones I ever enjoyed and found useful were my auxiliary classes like marine biology. I learned a shit ton of stuff in that, surprisingly. Workshops. I actually learned
hands-on stuff.
I learned a lot actually in PE because a lot of health stuff involved. But when you get down to like the actual histories, when you get down to the actual maths, I really didn't remember shit.
So for all the education stuff, what are you guys talking about? It all starts with him. For Arizona, at least, Tom Horn.
Is that Arizona?
Yeah, he's the head of Department of Education for Arizona. So it all starts with him.
Who was it? The Rothschilds, or who was it that created the actual schooling system?
I don't know who did that.
So I remember there was one like big mega.
I don't think it's Rothschilds.
It might be the Rothschilds. If you think about it, the schooling system is perfect to create human capital. Human capital is what the schooling system is for. You pay for just what capital is. You pay for a machine that does work for you. You pay for a human to do work for you. Well, how do you get a good human to do work for you? Well, you put them in school. You
get a good student.
Teach them. You train them from the beginning how to obey a leader. You train them from the beginning to get permission.
Is that human capital, or is that capital or socialism and communism?
How's that? If you're
creating robots.
I think it is kind of funny though, because as you are going through the structure and you're going through the this hamster cycle, it's funny because as soon as you get to that position of making money and paying taxes, now your taxes are just paying for them to create the same cycle.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's my whole. That's the whole gripe I have is it's like I told the story of the lady I had. I think I talked about this like 2 weeks ago or a month ago. Was when we were at the park, we're feeding the homeless people, and so we started talking about college, right? I forgot what it was. We're feeding the homeless. We're at the park, and I don't remember what she started talking to me, and she was pissed that she's like, I don't know if my daughter's my mother-in-law, I left it only her ringer rings. She goes, we probably won't get our debt paid and this and that. And I'm like looking at her and she goes, it's not fair. We should be able to get everyone should get their stuff paid. And I go, and this is, so I had a conversation with her, and I'm not trying to go back to our conversation, but I'm telling you that one is I said, listen, I go, is it fair that I have to pay my debt and you don't have to pay your debt? I go, what's fair? I go, because I have to pay my debt. If I don't pay my debt, it goes against me. It goes against my credit. I get sued, right? I go, but you don't have to pay anything because you ain't challenging yourself. That's what I told her, right? So it's the same thing. What everything we're doing is it goes back up to the system that's creating these issues, like with the schools. They're letting the teachers take down the flags. They're taking away the Pledge of Allegiance. They're doing all these different things to screw up the system. Then they take the power away from the parents. Mm-hmm. So even if we say, well, it's the parents' fault for anything, because I think the parents should be involved if with their kid and enrolling in college and trying to look at if there's debt or whatever. And the parent, if there is debt, the parent should take it on, not the kid. I think the parent should take it on. No parent should allow their kid to take on debt because they're not
Responsible.
they're not responsible.
I think that's a whole nother discussion.
Well, but it's part of it. It's still part of the system because the whole system is rigged to screw everybody and keep everybody down.
No, yeah,
they
it's
know
all
you're
for the
not.
higher people
They
to make
know
more
when
money.
a kid comes in, they're not gonna pay the debt.
Well, there's
They
like,
know-
I think there's
they
like
know-
a 30% dropout rate.
It's kind of like in some of these states, they know who's gonna go to prison when they're little.
Yeah.
Like they know the amount of people that are going to go to prison. They know the system that's screwed up. They know right now they've took all the power from the parents, right? They change the structure and then they create the theories and they're changing the whole way everything's being taught and what the kids are actually learning. I mean, think about it. Like the kids are learning about gays and transgenders and all this stuff in grade school. They're not learning about drug or abuse resistant education or sex education, how to actually, like if you do have sex with a woman or...
Would you rather have a teacher teaching your kids sex, or would you rather teach your kids about sex?
No, what I'm saying is there was sex education where you learn the basics. Today they're teaching boy on boy, girl on girl. At least back then it was a man and a woman.
What sex?
Yeah, I know. But it goes back to, like you said, is that, I don't know if Superintendent Tom is the problem with education because he's usually these people are deploys, but
So it's
decoys.
So it's funny too because obviously we're talking about like financial literacy and all these things. So my school, because I dropped out about 3 weeks before the end of the actual year, and because of that, and I was on a full ride scholarship to play sport or play football and lacrosse, I got back charged $45,000. But what I did was I actually created an LLC, and then I actually just claimed that I only made about 12. It was like $12,800 when I was doing landscaping stuff.
So you don't have to pay taxes.
So I went to them and I go, hey, I'm actually low income, so I can't afford this. They
Yeah.
wiped the entire debt.
Yeah. But you were still wise enough to figure that out.
Yeah, how many college kids at 18
then-
or 19?
But that's why
know
the
that?
parents should be involved in,
But
in
even
anything.
parents don't know.
That's why you got to go out and support your local community and get involved in politics.
Right?
Goes back to the basics.
You sound like very, very hypocritical. I know you're not meaning to, but that's just how you're saying. When you're saying, "Oh, do this," but I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I never said I don't want to do anything. I don't want to pay people's debts. I got to pay my own debts.
But I think the issue is too that first of all, I think student loan debt's a modern form of slavery because it's the only thing.
Of course.
it's the only thing you can't put into bankruptcy. You could start a business and then fuck everybody over in your business and then still file bankruptcy and get the slate wiped clean. And you're talking about earlier, second chances, right? Just because a kid fucked up at 18 years old, took on a debt, doesn't he deserve a second chance to get that debt wiped clean? Just because he made a mistake?
Well, there's certain ways to do it though.
But-
He's like,
I'm asking
he's like, yes, they do, but I'm not giving it to them.
Yeah. So they just
No.
back to like people deserve a second chance, right? So why not trying to get an argument. I think the biggest issue is that we don't allow the debt, first of all, to be consolidated into a bankruptcy if someone does fuck up. Instead, it stays with them forever. And then if people, let's just say they don't use a degree or didn't even graduate, it starts coming out of their Social Security at the end of their life. So now this debt follows them from the time they mess up. So they become 18 and adult. They put the shackles of slavery on. And now they're carrying those shackles all the
Until
way
it's
through
gone.
life.
Yeah.
And until they die. So I think it's a modern form of slavery, and they just took out the whips, and then they just put us in debt.
So who wins in the situation of that?
the people in power win. The people,
The universities, the colleges.
not necessarily. Yeah, I think,
Yeah, because they're going to get paid no matter what.
Well, most of their money actually comes from outside sources. If you actually look into, Harvard.
They get a lot of donations.
Most of it comes from China. China put in, I think. Can you look up how much?
Yeah, because
China,
they're teaching freaking
can you look up
Chinese
how much
history
China
instead of
invested in the
American.
universities last year. I think that's
No,
another.
Chinese donate a lot into the major universities.
Whole
I
semester of
think
the Shing Dynasty.
that's one of the biggest issues we have too. Is we allow other foreign adversaries to enter our education system, and some dude talked about this in the radio in 1960 something, 1963. You could probably look it up too, but it talks about how to.
It's right there. PRC estimate $12 billion per year,
Yeah, 12 billion, and I think.
and it's at the major universities.
yeah,
it's not
major-
the small ones. They're
it's-
not donating to ASU.
It's the
probably.
Harvards, it's the Columbias,
the Yales,
it's-
the big
yeah.
ones.
That's why those big ones they're very, very liberal. Like you can't go in there and convince.
Well,
no one.
46% of Harvard's funding comes from China. So, well, at least PBD. I saw that on PBD's podcast. Don't quote me on that.
Find
But
it.
China probably
Yeah, 'cause
also wants us
sometimes
to be
it's-
very
Yeah.
vote blue. They also
No, well, Chinese, all they're trying to do, they want to do is divide our country.
Which is working very well.
They want to divide you. Is no different than like the relationship back with God. Like once you divide up and remove, then that's where the issues come in because now you're weak. Now,
like it says, every kingdom that's divided against itself will fall.
yeah.
So it's the same concept.
Yeah, they've been doing this. Some guy on the radio, I'm sure you can look it up, but a guy on the radio talks about the fall of America, like how he would do the fall of America, or how the devil would destroy America. And he goes in, it talks about, I would implant this. I would say it's okay to have sex with the same marriage. I'd first start off in the movies where people are watching. And we obviously see it way more now, but that's where they start. And then
It's a little plugs.
And then eventually, because that's all you need is the movies and education system. And you start off young enough, then you're going to groom a whole generation or two to be however you want them to be after a few
What's
years.
that scripture about the fox and the vines in the Bible? Like they're eating everything underneath. They're nibbling, and then next you know the whole vine's dead. You didn't see
It's
any
not
of it.
Bible. Fox Bible verse. Okay.
Oh yeah,
Matthew,
whatever. That's not
the
it.
foxes have holes and the birds.
No, that's not it. It talks about eating the vines and stuff like that.
is that a scripture? Or is that just like a
No, it's a
saying?
scripture. I'm probably saying it wrong.
Chris Estrada translation.
Put like fox eating vines or something.
Um,
But I could be saying it wrong. But
Yeah,
it goes back to the system. If debt's paid, anything like that happens, the universities, think about like all the businesses that create that go to the lobbyist, and there it is. Is that it? I don't know. So anyways, the businesses go to the lobbyist, right? And they say, hey, we want to create these rules, these laws, these policies. The lobbyists go in and put it to Congress, all this stuff, right? And the businesses win, they pay for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if out of nowhere they go, hey, let's pay all this student debt, the government, do you think that the university, all the universities have lobbyists that go to our government and say, why don't you guys pay the student debt? Who wins?
I don't think universities win at that point.
They get paid.
They already got paid. They get paid once the loan gets taken out. Just like you take a loan out for a car, the car company gets paid immediately.
Well, then the banks, whatever banks it is that's involved, if the university,
Sally Mae.
Well, the
so yeah, Sally Mae, Freddie, so they're the ones. That's what I
the
mean.
banks, the universities, everybody owns each other. It's all the same.
That's what I mean.
conglomerate.
And so
it's
they
creating
make the
economy.
money. The one who makes the money first is the university, because if they can get that debt paid, then they ensure Sally Mae, hey, you're gonna get your debt paid. The government's gonna pay. We already worked on it. Just keep pushing the kids through. We don't care if they want liberal arts. We don't care if they're going just for PE. We don't care if they don't even finish. Push them through. The government's going to pay the debt. You make money, I make money. Everybody wins. The person who don't win is the person that doesn't learn.
Yeah,
Did you guys in school when did you have a senior project you had to do?
I think so.
What grade would
So-
that be in, bro? I'm sorry. Is that
So for
past
those
the
that
eighth grade?
didn't graduate, senior year is 12th grade, I guess. So for our school, I remember a couple times. So you had to create like an after school board in a sense, what you're going to do. And my biggest thing was I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I've always wanted to have a business, same thing, and just things in that realm. And I remember specifically the person I was presenting to. I'm not going to say the name, but the person I was presenting to, I had nothing to do with going to college, and I had everything to do with creating a business.
What were you getting?
And I got a because it was out of 100 score. She gave me just enough because I did the work and it looked presentable, but she didn't like my message to it because I had no college or no consistency to it. And I was like, what's not consistent about me wanting to go and actually being an entrepreneur in business? And there's a whole lot of backstory to it. But it's just crazy to me how the environment I was in of schooling was putting down the idea of being independent, of figuring things out, and not going traditional.
Do you think that was for your safety, though? Because most entrepreneurs, most businesses fail within the first year. So you think that was mostly for your safety and their, I guess, small view of the world? Because they're teachers. Nothing bad against teachers, but they're teachers. So
I have a few failed businesses.
Mm-hmm.
So one of them, for example, and this wasn't even actually my fault. The guy actually took off with our money and ran. That's a whole other story. But that business was going really well. It was actually a general contracting business, and I was doing remodels and
It's
a lot
you,
of stuff.
construction guy.
So I was doing a lot of remodels and stuff on the basis in Washington, and for over the course of 2 months, we already made 70, 80 grand. And so and this is just starting, and so we're having a lot of momentum. The guy takes and runs, but just in that 2 months of business, of a failing business, I learned more than all of my years of schooling itself. So I think where it would come from to answer that question would be just a lack of knowledge on their part.
Yeah.
Yeah, not intentionally
and
save you.
And their mental understanding that you're a failure if you don't do exactly what everybody tells you to do.
Yeah, that's a misconception I had too. Like I had to go to college, or else I'm gonna be a fucking loser if I don't go to college. If I don't go to college, like what am I gonna do? Am I gonna be able to get girls? Am I gonna be able to show off and be like, hey, I'm in college, you know, like, I'm getting my degree. Come hang out with me. You know, am I gonna be able to do all this? Am I gonna get FOMO? And you know, that's just again plugged in the beginning. You know, in grade school, before grade school and preschool, you guys are gonna get a degree, go to college. You guys are gonna do this. You guys are gonna be great people. You guys are gonna get your degree in communications. Stupidest bullshit degree. You guys can get your degree in this, and it's no degrees that are meaningful. Like these, you know, when I was a kid, I wanted to be an astronaut. Why the fuck I'm not going to get a degree in that to be an astronaut? Like, you know, we have such silly dreams, and then they promote these silly dreams, and we end up being like an art. They go for arts.
Think about like the astronauts though. If you like NASA closed their program for how many years? So imagine all those astronauts that didn't have a job.
They closed their program because they didn't get funding from the government.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But imagine like
they just closed their public program. They still did stuff in the back end.
Oh, of course.
They got private funding. So yeah, they closed down. We just haven't launched people. Like it's just kind of crazy. I mean, going back to NASA and stuff, you know, it's kind of crazy. We haven't done shit to the moon since we went there and.
Well, that's because we didn't go there.
Well, yeah, when they explored the ocean, then immediately went to the space.
Yeah,
That's comforting.
Russia started shooting, you know, rockets up, and we ended up on the moon somehow really fast.
We're about to be in another space race here soon. It seems like so.
Well, off of the topic too of the schooling, and then where I was talking about wanting to be an entrepreneur in business. So you going more the independent route yourself. Talk about, I guess, that transition from going a traditional understanding, dropping out, and then making that decision.
Well, I did those tests, you know, the tests you do to figure out what you're best suited for.
Okay.
And every time I did it said the first one was always salesman, and the next one was lawyer. So I was like, oh, I don't want to be a salesman. You know this. Such a bad stigma, especially door-to-door space. Such a bad stigma as a salesman from outside point of view. So I saw that. I was like, I don't want to be a fucking salesman. Those are such grimy people. I don't want to do that. And then I was like, I'm just going to go in business. My first degree was going to be business marketing. And then I was like, everything. I did my first job was door to door. I did it when I was 19. I went to Kansas City, did alarms out there, and I was like, I learned way more in these like you said, I learned way more in these 3 months than I did my first 2 years in college. Why am I going to stay in marketing? So I was like, I'm gonna go with the other one because I ended up going to sales. You know, my first choice went to sales. Now I'm gonna go to my second choice, which is lawyer. So I switched up my whole degree, wasted money, switched up my whole degree, went to be a lawyer, and I was a paralegal for 3 or 4 months. Hated my life. That was one of the saddest times of my life. I was so depressed. I was stuck in a little cubicle. Literally, what I hated, the thing I feared most growing up was being stuck in a cubicle, because the TV shows, and then that was me. I was
it sucks, huh?
It was work. I got paid 10.
I can imagine being in that.
It's horrible.
Yeah, I never wanted to be in a cubicle, and then I was stuck in one, and I was doing pretty much all the lawyer's work, because that's what a paralegal does. Just the assistant fills in the forms for $10 an hour, and I was like, I cannot do this the rest of my life, even if I'm getting paid $100,000. And then before I quit, this guy came in, and he was a new lawyer, just graduated ASU, he was like 45 years old, and I just asked him, like, dude, how much debt are you in? He's like, 150,000. I was like, damn. I was like, how long is it gonna take you out? He's like, about 20 years if I'm lucky. and then I sat there, I'm like, damn. So I'll be I'm almost 50 years old, maybe out of debt. If everything goes to plan. I was not a good student. I was not getting into law school. I was not a good student. So then I just pivoted back to there's a lot that happened in between that, but I went back to being independent and doing my own thing. It's much better. At least not for everyone, but my life is much better.
Mm-hmm.
But what really made me realize, I told Chris this, is I worked at Costco was after I got out of college, and I was working morning merch, which we just stock everything in the morning, and I was there at 2 a.m. I was drunk because I just got done partying, so I was still drunk at work. And I just decided to take a little break, just walk around, look at everybody. And I'm like, damn, all these people, including myself, we're just little worker ants for the big Craig Jenneke, who was the owner of Costco, or head runner of Costco. Like, I'm just doing this for him, and I'm never, ever, ever going to exceed the potential they put on me. I was getting paid $13 an hour. I was like, this is no matter how hard I work, I'm maxed out $13. So then I started thinking, I'm like, so realistically, I'm putting myself in a worse position because I automatically don't want to work harder because I'm not incentivized to work hard. I'm incentivized actually to be lazy.
You're incentivized to show up.
I'm incentivized to show up, which I never showed up on time. I was incentivized to show up and then incentivized to work my hours. However those hours of work may be. I could work 2 hours hard and then the rest of the 6 hours would be lazy, going to in and out, sitting in and out for a few hours, doing whatever I want. And I realized that's a real detriment to my whole life because how you do one thing is how you do everything. If I was at work for 8 hours, I'm doing everything just like how exactly I'm doing work. So I realized that this laziness that I'm applying to this job is going to fuck me up in the long run. And it fucked me up. It did fuck me up at the beginning of my sales life. But, I got a lot. I go through those aches and pains and it gets a lot better. So,
Well, then making that transition, how did a lot of your friends and family feel or support you going independent from having a job?
Oh, they always thought I was going back to a normal job.
Oh, okay.
That's fine. Yeah, my mom's been a great support. My mom's the only other person that probably, she's the only opinion I care about. Everyone else is, they can fuck off. But she was, she supported me, whatever. She drove me to the airport, my first sales job.
Oh, that's
She wasn't a fan of it. She wanted me to stay in college.
Yeah.
But, she just lets us do what we want. So I didn't have too much of an issue with that. My friends are all independent mostly too, so they didn't care. They're all in the same group as me, so
Yeah.
all same mindset.
We've been on this podcast for a long time.
Are you trying to get out of here, Chris? I see you look at your phone a lot.
No, I want one more topic.
Okay.
So I wanted to talk about sports gambling.
Let's talk about sports, Chris. Let's talk about Caitlyn. What's her name?
Jenner?
Your friend, of course, Chris. You and your Chris. What's up with you and your? I think we need to have like an
What's her
intervention.
Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
Caitlyn Clark. I didn't know what her name was.
I forgot her name. I wrote it down yesterday, but I forgot it already. Do you want to talk about her?
Well, I just know it was one of your topics.
I don't think there's
Why
anybody I
took
care
it off the
less to
topic.
talk about that.
Yeah, no. Hey,
don't-
that
I-
WNBA clip you sent me is hilarious.
Can we put it up? Can you send it to
Which
me?
one?
Oh, dude, hold on. Let me send it. Want me to send it
'Cause-
to you, Antonio?
I think the biggest issue I'm having with this, her, and nothing against her. She's just a fucking girl that plays basketball. But I'm more upset that they're shoving her down our throats.
Yeah.
ESPN, everything. If you look up at her stats, she's not even top 15 for anything. She's actually one of the worst shooting percentages in the league. And then they're complaining that she's not on the Olympic team and she's not even top 15.
Yeah, I hate that they're complaining about that. Like she's not even a year in.
Yeah, like you can't be. They're overhyping her, which is, it could be a detriment to her success because now all this hype is on her, and she's such a young. How old is she?
22.
No, she's like a freshman, right?
She's a young
22.
girl. She's 22 years old, and when we are 22 years old, obviously girls are more mentally ahead than men are, but you're still a young child. You're not mentally prepared for all the stress that they're putting on her, all the fame that they're giving her. They pretty much just made her famous out of nowhere because she's somewhat decent at
How
basketball.
what did you send that to me on?
Instagram. That's a fun.
I mean, there's way more people younger than her that get more pressure.
Yeah, and I
That's why.
since we're talking about women's sports, dude, it pisses me off when they get mad that they don't get paid the same. WNBA has never made a profit. The NBA pays for it.
The NBA pays for it.
Yeah, did you see you probably saw the video where they're breaking down pay scale if they're doing like a revenue based, and then if they did the revenue based pay scale off
They
of
would
the
have to
WNBA,
pay- they'd
they
have
would
to
owe
pay.
money. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, I
They'd
think.
have to pay to be in the WNBA.
And people want equality. Put them in the men's sports. Put them in men's leagues.
Well, I was just about to say I'm waiting for one of the men basketball players to identify as a girl.
Antonio, do you have your
There's
Instagram on there?
Like Christy.
there's two. I'm pretty sure there's probably a little bit more than two, but there's a couple WNBA players that are transitioning to becoming a man.
They should join the NBA. See how well they do. I would.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, so they're gonna join the NBA.
Well, they're
now,
like
or
they're
what?
like 6 years behind men, or 8 years. Like the WNBA is probably compared to what, like high school?
I would assume-
Freshman, sophomore, high
I
school.
would put the best. I would put the best high school team in the nation versus the best WNBA team. I'd put a mid team.
Probably not.
But if you want to make it like a real competitive sport, I mean, once you watch this clip that we saw, you're going to be like, all right, maybe
no,
freshmen,
this is hilarious.
maybe freshmen can play them.
I'd say freshman.
Again, I have nothing against women's sports. I think what they should do to women's sports to make it more entertaining is do enhanced women's sports.
Did you get it?
Let them take
do
steroids. Because then they're almost men, and you get to kind of test the waters with it. Like, all right, is it better to watch? Because if you can make women's sports profitable by giving them steroids,
I'm sending it to your account.
imagine what you could do with men. Just imagine. Like, I know they're coming out with the enhanced games, which is like the Olympics but on steroids. But I'd like to see a lot more sports.
I think they should just go street rules on all the girl sports.
I don't think the WNBA will ever be profitable.
No.
I do like women's fighting though. A lot of women's fights are good in MMA.
Well, that's not a whole separate league. That's still under UFC.
Yeah,
Under one thing.
But I mean that kind of women's sport is what I'll watch most. I mean that's the only women's sport I'll watch. Other than that, I watch.
I sent it to your Instagram.
I might watch the Olympics every once in a while with women's sports, but
Have you guys done any gambling on women's basketball?
that's a guaranteed L for me. I don't do any. I only bet on fights.
I went to one WNBA game.
Was it free?
It was free. I think we went with Rob and Sophia. It was free. Everything was free.
I was looking.
I think we
last
left
season.
after the first quarter.
Courtside for the Mercury at least was like $400. Courtside.
That's a lot.
No, it's not.
No?
No, courtside seats like $100 grand.
Phoenix.
No, how much is the courtside seat? Like
No,
20.
$600.
It was courtside.
Oh, courtside?
Courtside.
Oh, yeah, maybe $1,500, $2,000.
Oh, for NBA?
For NBA.
NBA is like 20 grand.
Is it that high?
No, it depends on the stadium and
Yeah,
the
I
game.
guess.
The game, the team.
Yeah,
When I was looking at the Knicks game when we were there a few months ago, courtside there was like 40 grand.
Yeah.
Where I sat, it was 350, and I was like 20 rows.
Yeah, I think I looked at the Phoenix Suns. I think it was like 10 to 15 grand for
That's a lot.
courtside versus $400.
But going to a Suns game, I've never paid more than $250. But I know I have a couple friends that work there, so they give me their tickets. They just sell them to me.
Can you screen share to the TV?
I'm trying to send it to this guy. Here.
But when you guys see this clip, it's going to be freaking hilarious. Oh, here it is. Here it is. This is why. This is what we pay for. This is what the NBA
This
pays
is funny.
for.
This is funny.
I've seen this.
Turn up. Oh, you can't.
No. Turn off the music.
Okay.
Turn off the music all the way. You'll get in trouble. Look at this. Wow.
Look at every air ball.
Look at that. I know they're cutting scenes out.
Look how they're coming out. Well, yeah, they're making it look bad, but it's so funny.
That's how you walk into the office every morning, huh?
Yeah. Look at. She can't. They're.
It's just kind of.
Hey, they used to be decent back in the day, weren't they? Or they always sucked?
They average like 80 points probably a game.
No, like 60, I think.
No, it's like 80, 85 points.
But remember back in the day, like that, like Lisa Leslie and all those, like when they first came out. Is that because they first came in WNBA?
Probably.
The first 4 or 5 years. Look, they just airball it. What did you do? No, we're done. You already moved it.
Yeah, we're done watching it, I guess.
I thought it was funny when I don't know if you guys seen the clip of Angel Reese. She was like, because Clayton Clark,
Who's that?
she's from LSU. I think she's from LSU, right?
Playing
Is it the
basketball?
same school?
Yeah,
Okay.
WNBA. No, it's a different school. She's a rookie also, but she's saying that because a lot of people are watching.
Oh,
for
yeah, I seen
Caitlin
that.
Clark. The other day, she was saying that a lot of people are watching because of her too. Like it's not just her, but the only reason people would know her is because of Caitlin Clark.
So, but the girls, Caitlin Clark is, you said number 15 in the country.
Yeah, look up Caitlin Clark's stats.
Yeah, but she's also a freshman. So she's number 15 out of all freshmen or the whole WNBA?
She's in the NBA, WNBA. So she's the issue is they want Caitlin Clark in the Olympics instead of all the other girls.
She leads the WNBA in turnovers.
And she's not.
Nice.
And the argument,
Almost 6 a game.
people are furious that she's not in the Olympics and she's not a top 10 player. She's not even a top 15 player. So, like, why would you, if you're playing a basketball team, if you're a basketball coach, why would you want the top 20 player on your team?
Well, that just goes to show two things: how stupid people are and how powerful the media is.
Well, the media will push any agenda.
Yeah, I mean they're pushing if they're seeing nothing.
So
but
what
Caitlyn.
about like the videos where they show her getting pushed around and slapped around? Is that just
Those are just those
that
are,
tough love?
No, those are plays that happen. It's basketball is still a physical game. People are just saying that she's getting attacked.
Where's she at? Is she on? Have we seen her name yet? Oh God.
What are you looking at?
The top players in the NBA right now. She's not even top 25. That's top 25 players.
Well, she's still a rookie, so she's not going to be in there.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
This is right now, right? Oh, that's
Yeah.
2023 stats. Look up 2024.
Come on.
Hey, since we're on the topic of basketball too, just to
Who's
throw
that
it
old
out
buff
there,
dude on the
Christopher is
left?
0-2 to me in basketball.
I am. Yes.
Are you doing bets on the finals?
No, I have not bet in like a month.
Have you
That's
guys
a
ever
good
gone to
thing.
the DraftKings place that opened up?
No, but we built
That's-
Sportsbook, Caesar Sportsbook. We
Oh,
built.
is that what it is?
We did all the walls, paint, everything at Caesar
that at-
Sportsbook.
That's the one
haven't
next to
been
TPC, right?
No, the one we built is
No,
at the
Caesars
Diamondbacks.
is by the
Yeah, that's at the Diamondback
DraftKings
Stadium.
is over there.
Oh, is
That's
it?
the
Where
one
they
we
did the
built.
waste management.
We worked on.
Have you guys ever been to either of those?
No.
I've been to the one.
I've been to FanDuel, but
Yeah.
that was because I was at a Suns game.
Yeah, I've been to the FanDuel one. I've been to the Caesars one.
Okay, well, you said you bet on fighting majority.
Yeah, only UFC fights.
And then what do you usually bet
Yeah,
on?
everything.
Tennis. No, I'm just kidding.
Tennis, golf.
No.
I,
Mainly, no, I haven't been like a month. But when I was, it was basketball. I didn't know baseball, so I wouldn't bet that.
When the Bengals went to the Super Bowl, I downloaded DraftKings, and I wasn't aware of like what I was doing and putting in bets. So I thought I kept putting in my. I thought I was trying to make a bet, but it would disappear, and I ended up spending like $5 or $6 grand.
Did
But
you
I thought
win?
it was like a
On
couple
what?
$100. Just a bunch of bets in the Super Bowl. And lo and behold, like when the game was over, I was like, I wonder if I won anything. And I just see minus. It was, I think it was $5,000. But I just, ever since then, just deleted it. Don't do it.
Yeah, so like that was a
insane.
topic I want to talk about because I know a few people that are really into sports booking and sports bets and stuff like that. And do you guys? And this will be our last topic. Do you guys think that it's good? It's a good thing that they brought this out to the open, and instead of having to go to the casino's now in your hands. Like, is it good for society, especially the young adults today?
I think so. I mean, regardless, would you rather have them betting on their phone, or would you rather have them in a casino where they're going to spend more money? Casinos are designed to make. I don't know. Have you been in a casino?
Yeah.
There's no straight angles, so they're all curved, and you can't see the exits from wherever you're at. You have to go find the exits. You can't find the
Yeah,
bathrooms.
you get stuck in there.
And you can't see outside, so you don't know what time it is. So they're meant to keep you in there. And I think when I'm betting and I see the money directly coming out of my account on my phone, I'm like, all right, I can't spend any more than this. I'm putting $50 in here. I don't want to lose more than $50 today. I'm putting on this one, putting on red, whatever sports I'm voting you're going for. But when you're gambling, you're in that atmosphere of people losing money, and you see people winning big. Oh, I won big. I won $100,000. I spent $20 grand to make it, but
Yeah.
and then you get that that sense of encouragement, that you could possibly win, and then you don't win.
So you're saying you think it's good because you can limit yourself easier.
I think but people don't. So we're the only people on the phones. But if you're sports betting, and let's just say most people are addicted to their phones, you're not going to be spending the whole time in sports betting. You might go on Instagram, take a little break, and that might be enough time to deter you. But I think gambling in general is people are going to find a way to bet. They'll bet on the streets. They'll fight each other for it. They'll find something to bet on if they want to bet.
Yeah.
So I think putting it.
So does it enhance the addiction, if there is an addiction?
I don't know, because I wouldn't bet. I personally wouldn't bet if it wasn't in my phone, because I'm not going to a casino to bet. But I really enjoy betting because it's fun. It makes it, even if it's like $10 for a team to win, I bet $10 just so I could be more involved.
Yeah.
In that person or a fight, more involved in the fight. If it's a bad UFC card, and I want to be more involved in it, I'm gonna put $50 on someone, $20 on someone.
We could give that to the Trump campaign.
Or you give it to pay for someone's college.
What do you think?
I mean, I'm kind of on the same boat, and because I do see it a lot more limiting, because I know people, when they are just gambling on their phone, most of the times they're like, well, I'm just going to throw $100. And it's
Yeah.
usually because we're about to watch, or we're going to go heading into an event that's watching it, because there's more like emotional engagement to it.
Yeah.
And sports betting in casino, I mean, there's sports betting in casino. I think they're two different ball games themselves as is. Because even like for me, when I go to the casino, which is rare, but when I do, I mean, I don't ever spend more than $200 or $300. And so I'm already wanting to spend more because the limits are higher. So I'm having to put in more. But then because, like you were saying as well, being in that environment, everybody's sitting there trying to lose money in a sense. So you're more enticed. And everybody I go with, or anybody I've gone with, whenever they're out of money, what's the thing they say?
Well, let me go withdraw some more.
He's like, how long you plan to stay here? I can go draw some more.
Oh yeah, they have the ATM right there.
Yeah.
Again, we were talking about the beginning, FOMO. The best marketing strategy that they're having is FOMO. And
Yeah.
Because you lose out, everyone goes in, like you said, everyone goes in there to lose. Hardly anyone goes in there, they're up, and they're like, all right, I'm done. My last time I went gambling, I won 6 hands in a row in blackjack, and then I was like, oh, I'm fucking killing it. And I knew, my mind's like, get out. I was up, I only put in $50, and I think I was up to like 500. And I was like, oh, get out. And then I stayed in and got all the way down to 200. I was still profitable, but just the sense of like, I want to lose money. I have all this money here, I could lose it all now. And it's just that environment that I think that it's 100% the environment. Because if I'm doing sports betting or I'm betting online, I see the money hit. I can physically see the money versus chips. and I could see $500 versus 10 chips of $50.
You feel it more.
I could see, oh man, I got $500 in my pocket. I'm just gonna.
Yeah,
put
you
this.
see that little notification. No, you just got charged this.
So what about you? You quit. You said you quit gambling. There's obviously a reason why you quit gambling.
You don't look like
Oh.
you quit gambling.
Yeah, I know.
No, I didn't quit. I just paused.
You said you
I put on
paused.
pause.
Whatever. So why did you pause?
Just so, because I mean, nothing's guaranteed.
What does
So you
pause?
can still lose.
What does pause mean before you answer that?
Break time.
Break.
Okay.
Just waiting a little bit.
Okay.
Are you waiting for football?
Yes.
Okay, so why'd you pause? Just because the wrong sports are being played right now.
Yeah.
Not enough research.
Yeah. I don't watch baseball to go bet on it, and I stopped caring about basketball.
Baseball's so unpredictable. now.
I stopped caring about basketball once the Suns got
So do you-
eliminated.
Betting on Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, no, I'll never do that. I'm not watching. If I'm not like watching it, I won't bet.
So
Because
do
you're sexist.
Yes.
Do you think that
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
that us having the sports book, the sports betting, the gambling at our phones will create more gambling addicts
Well, I mean,
versus like what because now you have people that went to the casino, right? Versus like in theory, people are like, oh, I'm not going to the casino because I don't want to lose money, right? Well, the casino came to you. So what is that thought on?
If I had access to like blackjack on my phone, I'd probably be in trouble, because I feel like when you have an interactive game,
I think you
obviously,
can get blackjack on your phone.
I don't know. I'm not
it's
going to look
not.
it up.
It's not as fun though. It's not the same energy.
But nonetheless, I know when having some kind of like active, interactive gambling game, it's a lot more easier to get sucked in and enticed, opposed to something that's more transactional. Because if you're just putting $50 and you can't really do anything outside of your bet other than putting your $50 in,
You're talking about versus playing slots or cards
playing
or something.
slots or playing
you're
cards,
trying to
where
win,
you
like
can
you're
just
going.
That's my 2 cents.
So you don't think it would create more gambling addicts?
I actually had a blackjack app on my phone.
Yeah.
It was just, for like in airports and stuff like that. And I actually, when I had DraftKings at the time as well, I had the screen report comes down, and I would time and time again be playing blackjack more than I'd be on DraftKings. Mm-hmm. And I didn't even have money involved into the blackjack one.
Was that
blackjack and
that
poker.
before the 5,000 you lost or after?
That was well before. After, I don't go on either. But I think it can expose more people to gambling, but at the same time, I think it's going to help limit people, because I don't think they'll be really wanting to go to the casino, because then they're going to be like, well, I just can do it from my phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's like the same argument like if you legalize all drugs. People that weren't going to do them before are going to do them. Just like gambling. If, since you made it legal on your phone to gamble, people that weren't initially going to go to the casino
They're
to
gonna
gamble,
gamble
they're going to try it out. So I think that could be an issue in some sense, because some people that would never have gambled before may become addicts. Like I have a buddy, I'm not going to say his name. He might not even fucking watch this, but
Is that Johnny?
No, his name's Alex. I'll call him out.
Last name?
I'm not saying
Occupation?
his last name. My sister's had his mom as a teacher, so they'll know. But we're at he likes to spend money gambling for no purpose, and he does not make good bets. We were watching the fights. John Jones' last fight against Cyril Gahn. We were watching it. I think it was David Buster's or something. And he was down already $300 the night. He's like, I'm going to win it all back.
He bet against John
That's the
Jones?
problem.
Yeah,
is people chase.
He said, I'm going to win it
So
all
if you,
back.
when they lose,
I'm
they're
gonna-
like, I'm gonna put $100. Sorry,
Yeah, no worries. But yeah, kind of
He
going off
can
that.
cut you off, but I can't.
No, well, you cut me off more than 5 times. You cut me off about 30 times. I'll count next time. I'll click it. But then he's like, I'm gonna win it all back. I'm gonna put $300 and still gone. I was like, dude, don't do that.
Oh, that's a
You
terrible
know what
bet.
they say? You only lose once you stop.
Yeah, the only way you lose if you quit.
Well, I mean, everything's built off losers. Like
Yeah.
It's built.
the
It's,
casinos,
yeah.
Vegas is built off losers. Sportsbooks, Caesar Sportsbooks built off losers. And so to you guys' point, in my opinion, I think it creates more addicts. I think it creates more chaos. It's good for business for those entities, right? It's good for sports because more people want to watch the sports now and gamble more. But I know someone in particular, and I won't say his name because I'm helping him right now. But I see him on his phone all day long. I see him on his phone all day long. How would I be able to see him all day long?
Is he in this room with us?
No.
But
He's gambling a lot and he's in trouble, right? So then the people that can't get it's so easy now, in my opinion. Like you're saying, like you can control it because you're I think you're a person that's level-headed, right? Even though you're being mean to me and yelling at me, and I'm still sad about that. Not really. I don't give a shit. But I think the other person that maybe is like a little bit like can't control their emotions, or they're already having addictive behavior. Maybe they're addicted to drugs or something else, and now that's the new addiction. That can be a real detriment to someone because it's right there. Boom, boom. Okay, there's no basketball games on today. Let me bet on golf. There's no golf. Let me bet on this. Antonio's gonna start betting on pickleball or something weird.
You can do that?
I'm sure you can. I'm sure it's coming.
I bet
It
on
probably is coming.
You can bet on anything. You can bet on freaking snails.
You can't.
Racing.
I'm gonna bet on worship leaders in there.
I don't know.
You can't.
In
bet on
my
anything.
opinion, if
You
you're
can't or
if you're
can?
not if you're
I'll tell
just
you right
betting on sports that you don't even know or watch, that's stupid.
That's
where
an
that-
addiction.
That's
though.
where the
Yeah,
addiction
that's
comes
an
in.
addiction.
So would you rather have a proxy war or sports gambling?
Proxy war, bro. We can stop the damn war. You create the mind of the gambler. That's the problem. You create the mindset.
Like me,
Yeah.
when I would sports, because I sports bet it all last football season.
We know what you did. Go ahead.
I was good at football because I played football and I know it, so I was good. But then I started betting on basketball, and I would lose everything I won.
And there's a lot more games in basketball.
Yeah, there's a lot more games. So once football season, I started betting on basketball.
Just
And
don't
then-
bet on baseball.
I mean, I would win
unpredictable.
some, but most of the stuff I won, I would lose it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know basketball as well as I did football.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's also unpredictability with basketball. You don't know what players are going to be playing. You don't know if they're still sore from the day before. At least
They're
football.
crying.
And the games are
Yeah.
close to each other. And football, at least you got a week rest. It was easier for
Well,
me.
football,
at least,
there's
to
how
tell.
many games? 13, 15?
17.
And you get
And
more
basketball, there's
playoffs.
like 80, 100, whatever the hell.
82.
82.
Yeah.
Baseball's is 162.
I
It's
thought it was
just
180.
too many games.
162, yeah. But baseball, you can't really predict that either because they're all over the place. But as far as gambling, like being addicted, people being addicts, I don't know, because then the same thing as drugs. Like, you legalize all drugs, people may become addicts. But I think that if they want to do the drugs and become addicts anyways, they would do it.
Yeah.
If they had the addictive personality, they're going to be addicted to something else. Maybe something better for them they could be addicted to, but
Hey, do the gambling apps loan money?
No.
Oh,
It's only out of your
that'd
account.
Be killer. Like a business standpoint.
Jesus Christ, that would.
Well,
that's
no,
when,
because,
that's
like,
when you're. If you start taking loans out,
If you do stocks,
Oh
like
my
if you do
God.
stocks and stuff, they'll loan you back your money. and
Bet
stuff
collateral.
yeah, Robinhood would
Oh.
loan you money.
Like that. Yeah.
What a great game that'd be for banks.
You're like, you're not even up any money, and they created this whole fake
here's the
fund.
title to my house.
That's funny. Yeah. So, anyways, that's my opinion. All right. So, last thing is, I want to get your guys' take. Like from each one of you, I want you to just tell a nugget to people watching because I know we talk crap, we mess around, we talked a lot of topics, but like to the watcher, that whoever's watching right now, like what is your advice to that person that's trying to come up? Like they're either trying to get a raise in position or start their own company, but what's that piece of advice? We'll start with you, Dominic, then we'll go to you, Kaden.
well, I can't give much advice to people working a normal job. But for people that are actually watching, like just stick to something, whatever you're doing. If you have a religion, and mostly find a religion, find something, and then stick to that. Find discipline in that, because without discipline, there's chaos, and when there's chaos, you don't know what you're doing, where you're at. So, and you just don't want chaos in your life. So find something that put discipline in your life. You need discipline more than anything. So,
Discipline, Kaden.
Two things. One, really create a foundation and values. So no matter what you do or what you go into, that's your rock. Because if I have God, my family, and all these things built out, I have to build everything around this. Because even like in business, every Sunday I'm going to church. I don't care what you're offering me Sunday. I'm going to church. For like devotion time, prayer time, reading the Bible, those are all going to be fit into my schedule. No matter what you're offering me, that's going to have to happen in the day. So having that foundation, and then once you have that foundation, get comfortable with the uncomfortable. Meaning, put yourself in uncomfortable positions, because that's really where you're going to thrive and grow and find out what you're supposed to be doing or where you're supposed to be at. Yeah.
So in that first step to finding uncomfortability, what would you recommend? So let's just say I'm a person working a normal job, and I got offered an opportunity to become a sales rep. And that's obviously, the difficulties of becoming a sales rep. It could be any position. And what would your advice be for someone trying to make that step and going from a comfortable position working let's say in the cubicle to working at a job where you have to eat what you kill?
Pretty much me.
So I was actually
That's what
given,
I'm doing.
all my best relationship and just mentors and even best conversations I've had, ironically, have all happened at cigar lounges. And so I was in Tacoma, Washington, at Smokey Joe's. And there was ironically, he was a casino gambler, or not a gambler, casino lawyer. So he was the lawyer for all the like betting claims, slot machines, everything. And I was that was where I was in a position of transitioning from when I had a job at the time, because as I had businesses, I did take a job, which was sales. And then I went from that job into the real estate investing. And I was just giving him my understanding. I was like, I feel really uncomfortable. I just don't know what to do. I don't know where I'm at. I mean, I almost feel scared in a sense. And he says, when you feel uncomfortable and scared about the opportunity, that's when you should jump. And that's exactly what I did.
So that guy that was he your boss at the time? Or just
no, just a guy I randomly met.
That's some good piece of advice. Just jump it if it makes you feel uncomfortable.
If you're uncomfortable and scared, it probably means it's time to jump.
How has that helped you? How's that advice helped you? Sorry, Chris.
No, it's helped me live a little bit more in chaos, as in I'm okay to go and jump into something, take a risk, and just figure out how to make it work. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you can
just don't jump off the cliff, bro, without a freaking parachute.
Mm-hmm. We'll see.
Yeah, I think I think chaos is okay for a little bit, but too much chaos. I don't know if you heard Jordan Peterson. Mm-hmm. His book, 12 Steps of Happiness or whatever, he talks about chaos as not knowing where you're currently at. And I think that's one of the biggest definitions is you know where you're at currently, but you don't know where you're currently at.
That's where it becomes overwhelming.
Yeah, because then you start thinking, like, what am I doing? Like, let's just say you're working a cubicle job that you hate. Like, I worked a cubicle job I hate. I sold, what did I sell? I sold something.
You almost worked one here.
I almost worked a cubicle job here. But yeah, I sold credit repair in a cubicle. And I was sitting there, just one of the most chaotic times. I've had a lot of bad times, but it was very chaotic because I was sitting in the cubicle. I fell asleep one time. I told this lady that she had Starbucks on her credit report, that she owed Starbucks money.
Okay.
And at that moment, I was like, dude, what the fuck am I doing with my life? I'm sleep talking, trying to sell this person. I know I could be doing sales other places. So I think chaos, control chaos is good to have, like you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Christopher?
I would just say just be yourself whatever you believe in, everything, whether it's you go to church, not because everybody's not going to be Christian listening to this. So whatever you believe in, whatever that is, just stand on it. Just keep going forward. Just straight, be yourself.
Yeah, that's good.
That goes right back to what you said a few times. If you stand for nothing, you fall for anything.
Yeah.
And everything.
So everyone knows what I stand for.
LHI.
Bombing people.
Is it LHI?
Yeah.
Proxy wars.
Everyone out there watching, this is a good podcast. I mean, we got some good content. We got some little banter going on.
3 hours.
3 hours long, bro. Antonio fell asleep 3 times. We took like 3 breaks.
Antonio was laughing the whole time.
But he's lagging over there. So don't forget to like all of our content. Go back and look at our other stuff. Subscribe. Follow us. Look at us on Instagram, Facebook. Or I don't know if we're on Facebook, but Facebook.
You on TikTok?
TikTok. We're for sure on TikTok.
So you doing the Renegade?
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
No. Is that a dance or something?
It's okay.
I don't
It's
know.
not your generation.
Yeah. What is the Renegade?
What is that?
We're going to post that everywhere.
Be blessed.
Bye, everybody.
We're out.
Meh.
Peace.